The Green Ops podcast is brought to you by F3 Tactical, Spotter Up, Sons of Liberty Gunworks, and Blue Force Gear. Why should listeners be getting into some sort of fighting training? I know you're big into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Obviously, you believe in it. I believe in that level of training, but there's other things, right? You can get into like the wrestling world. You can get into some grappling stuff. So why get in? You had talked about earlier inside 3 yards, right?
Yeah.
So why should listeners start taking some sort of fighting training or learn how to handle themselves from 0 to 3 yards?
Well, I think we can even go a little bit further back, right? We can even make it a little bit more practical, as opposed to not even with like self-defense and getting into violent criminal assaults. Put that like kind of on the side. The fact is, the top causes of mortality for Americans is health related. If you included medical malpractice in that, that'd be number 2. So, I mean, right now, number 10 is suicide. But if medical malpractice was in there, then that's it, right? Top 10 causes, health related. So cancer, heart disease, you name it, right? So if you are just being physical, I mean, your health is going to be directly connected to what you can do physically. So it's like almost everyone gets into the personal defense, self-defense space with the idea of, and they may have not articulated this way, but that my life has value, the people that I love have value, and I will do what I need to do to protect them. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, that's totally true. And it's also true that the people that you mean to protect, you have immense value to them. So I think the first thing you do as a service to them isn't go buy this object for the sake of the first thing you do is get invested in your health to make sure you have as much time in this planet with them as possible. Like the difference between just something as simple as just doing physical activity, maybe 3-4 times a week. That's the difference of dying 15 or living 15 years longer. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's, even if we kind of just think about it just from a practical standpoint of, all right, why am I doing this? For my family, and I want to be with my family as long as possible. So I should get healthy. Right. That's the first thing. The other thing is that it's kind of a common talking point in the kind of the pro-gun space, where they start talking about like, oh, hands and feet kill way more people than AR-15s or guns do. And that's also totally true. In fact, the majority of rapes and murders have to be within hands and feet, right? I mean, that all is done with these two, right? Mm-hmm. So why aren't we actually exploring on what to do with someone having just hands, right? It seems so obvious that maybe it's just kind of oblivious to people, where it's just like they think they have to kind of go, well, it's not that I have to necessarily deal with hands. I have to go to the thing above that. And there's some good logic there. But at the same time, it's like, unless there's like a really good reason where like every single time you bring a pistol around, like that's a gunfight. So, it may not necessarily be true that this person is going to present you that capability, opportunity, and intent to cause you serious bodily harm. And when we talk about serious bodily harm, we're talking about like they're going to kill or cripple you or somebody you love. So, and if they're doing it with hands and feet, that means they're already beating on you. They're already on top of you. So it's like, that's kind of the worst place to be like, you know what? I'm going to pull my gun out now. And at that time, it's like you're likely to end up struggling over it, as opposed to actually getting it off right. So with that in mind, you should learn how to move your body properly to where people can't get a dominant position on you, and also understand like how to introduce this properly to where it won't get taken away from you. So that's really where I come from.
So complete episode available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app. New Green Ops podcast episodes available every Thursday. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the new content.